Hey coaches, Coach John and Coach Ashley here today to talk about the barbell hip thrust, which is a great movement to train the glutes and the hamstrings without any hinging or bending at the hips or lower back. We'll show a couple good reps here with the plates on the barbell. You can see Ashley is sitting on top of a 25-pound plate to help boost her up into the starting position. The 2 reps here, Ash. Thanks. But we'll trade barbells now so that you have an easier time of seeing some of the finer points of performance of this movement. So Ash starts with a pad on the barbell and the barbell resting on the tops of her quads on the muscle, not on the bony part of her hips. She's shimmied herself up so the base of her shoulder blades are on the edge of the bench here. No real graceful way to do that. We're all built a little bit differently and the benches are at fixed height, but once you've established that position, using a booster plate if needed, and the bar across the quads, we start by keeping the ribs in, bracing, pulling the ribs down to the hips, and then squeezing the butt, driving through the heels, and returning to that starting position, keeping the spine in line from the abs up to the neck. Again, she'll squeeze her glutes, eyes are to the ceiling, and as she brings the bar down, her eyes follow her torso back to the starting position. The main way this movement can break down is in the midsection, in the spine, with excessive arching and hyperextension through the lower back, which we can sort of see here right at the start. That lumbar curve is pretty exaggerated here. If she were to finish this movement, there's a lot of pressure in her lower back, which only increases as her hips rise to the finished position. If, however, she does a good job of keeping her abs in, her ribs in, and driving through the heels to the top, she may leave her eyes behind and just drop her hips, which again creates this big extension through her lower back. We want to avoid that by, once we finish the end range, by squeezing her hips at the top, keeping her chin tucked and taking her eyes down, eyes always following the torso. Eyes to the ceiling, eyes back down to the ground. A friendly introductory movement instead of the barbell hip thrust. A more controlled version of this is the barbell glute bridge, where here the basic points of performance from the hip thrust are still in play. Feet at about hip distance, barbell across the quads, bracing the midsection by pulling her ribs to her hips, and then squeezing her glutes to full hip extension here before returning the bar back to the floor, all the while keeping her abs engaged. We'll show one more of those, Ash. Thanks, and you can relax. That's it, team. The barbell hip thrust.